Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. Shout out to all the BTM mob. I don't say I told you so, but let's go. And this, of course, is the price. That's weird. Why did I not add to the stage? Here we go. This is the price. Currently, we are up 35.6%. Told you guys just to hang in there. This didn't happen by accident. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs. After all the sideways action today, Zebec is up 35.6%. But let's get to it and come back to the numbers. Network, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And Caleb & Brown is a crypto brokerage. They offer 24/7 support. You actually get someone on the line that can talk to you and explain and help you navigate the exciting world of crypto. So if you're new to crypto, they're definitely a good place to start. And they also self-custody your crypto. You don't have to worry about losing your crypto. You don't have to worry about passwords and key phrases and locking into different accounts or getting locked out, because they do self-custody the crypto, as well as giving you a one-on-one broker. The link is in the description. You can use my discount code. I think you get 5% or something off and sign up. So I don't know why the camera keeps acting up. I knew it should have restarted the computer, but we will see what we can see. Just double checking the sound's on. We're live on it this Friday. Let's go through the bubbles real quick. So currently, looks like a lot of green in the market. Cubic is up 19.4. Ethereum is up 15.4, down 0.2 on the hour, down 24.4 on the week, 2.2 on the month, down 24.5 on the year, and they're at 2,049. H-bar, another banger, is up 22.5 on the day, up 0.1 on the hour, down 7.8 on the week, down 26.2 on the month, down 70.1 on the year at 9 cents. TON tokens up 20.4. XDC is up 24.1, down 2.3 on the hour, up 2.5 for the week, down 25.9 on the month, and down 57.6 on the year at 3 cents as well. Flux is up 17.5. Filecoin's up 20%. World Liberty Financials up 2.1%. Ethereum Classic is up 18%. ZK is up 21%. Theta is up 23%. OKB is up 19%. Pith is up 27%. Stop it. XPR is up 17.3 on the day, down 0.8 on the hour, down for the month, and down 9.2 on the year at the 002. Powell's up 55%. Wow. Near's up 22.9. Solana is up 23.3, down 0.8 on the hour, down 26.5 for the week, down 36.3 on the month, and 54.8 on the year. Does it seem kind of weird to you? Let me know in the comments. It's strange. All of a sudden, everything's up almost 20%. I'm not saying it's market manipulation, but it's probably market manipulation. BDX is 18.3, Qual's up 47, Bear is up 39, XDN is up 6.8 on the week, down 44.7 on the month, and down 80.2 on the year. So let me know, do you think everything's going to come down this weekend, or is up 19.7? Tau, but Tenzer is up 14.6, down 1.4 on the hour, down 20.2 on the week, down 36.3 on the month, down 48.6 on the year to 175. That's the lowest I've seen it, and it's starting to come back up. So let me know in the comments as well. Solana is up 20.9 on the day, down 0.8 on the year, 0.8 on the hour, down 26.3 on the month, down 36.3 on the year, well, down 36.3 on the month and 54.7 on the year. Gala's up 20.2. XLM is up 15.7. XRP's up 27%. Let's go. For the hour, it's up 0.4. For the day, it's up 27. For the week, it's up 15. For the month, it's 31.7. For the year, 39.6. Can't keep a good thing down. Monero's up 14.4. Caspa is up 23% to 3 cents. Check out the live stream from earlier. Helium's up 19.7. Cosmos Atom is up 15.6. Lithium's up 9.1. Canon Network is up 6.9 on the day, down 0.8 on the hour, down 6.1 on the week, and up 25% on the month. Bitcoin SV's up 22.3. AIOZ is up 45%, up 0.7 on the hour. Algorand's up 17.2. Quant is up 17.3. Render's up 29%. Ingest is up 18. Trump coin is up 6.9. Avast is up 17. Flare is back in business, up 15.6, unchanged on the hour to 009, up 2.2 on the week, up 16, down 2.2 on the week, 16.1 on the month, and 48.7 down on the year. Satoshi's is up 24.3. Nexo's up 16. Poly Mesh is up 17. Cardano's up 18. Cash is up 12.3. Jasmine is up 22.7. Actually, unchanged on the hour. Down 11.1 on the week. 30.8 on the month. And 73.5. It's going to be not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Just had to get a little water there. Let's look at the holders. Currently, we are at 94,167. For the 4 hours, we added 55. For 12 hours, 196. For the day, 234. For 3 days, 313 holders. For the week, 683 holders. For 2 weeks, 1,549. And for the month, 3,546. And I told you guys, the price has got to push at some point, guys. There's too many people signing up and getting into a Zebec, right? There's too many holders. Even if the holders are only holding a couple of tokens or less than 50, There's too many holders coming over. There's too many people picking it up. It's got to go up, right? So shout out to Tony T. What's going on with your fam? What up, Silver Days, BTM Crypto News Network? What up, Zebec fan? What up, Training for Life? What up? It was all planned. What up, Kmart? What up, Alfred? The pump was nice, but we need to remember where we were before the pump. If we fell from the 005 down to the 001, this pump only helped recover 0.002 range. We need to recover to the 005s. Of course, Alfred, that's going to take some time, dude. It's going to diamond for head. Yeah, it's going to take some time to pump back to the 005, bro. We got to even get past the 003. I think that's where we were before we started going down. So, yeah, it's a long way. It's possible, but with the liquidity exiting the market, it's hard, but it's good that we are coming back up. We'll have to wait and see how far we pump. Currently, we're at the 0.020, down 5.16 on the hour, up 33.92 on the day. So we outdid Bitcoin and Ethereum. For the week, we're still down 21.08. For the month, 28.89. For the 3 months, 32.62, and still up 140.1 on the year. And why does they never have the market cap? So over to CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap says we are up 36.23 on the day. Market cap is 207.43, up 33.23, which is cool. But I definitely need to get it up to at least 300 million market cap. 24-hour trading volume is 24.57 mil won, up 54.2%. It seems to be kind of technical. Market cap 221.7 million, 89%, 111.7 votes bullish. SCO2 and 1 pending longer order. Entry contains PLC plus meets positive simplification with 2 consecutive long orders that had very good profits previously, estimating stop loss around 2.84%. The uptrend is in the 402 cycle, altitude 25%. Very technical. Oh yeah, I was going to get to this too. Coin Rabbit Loans featured Zebec Network in their latest article on how crypto and traditional finance are converging, highlighting Zebec Network's growing real world usage across payroll and crypto cards. I told you guys they got to keep adopting the keep making partnerships. The adoption will come. I'm bullish on Zebec. And like I said yesterday, the bounce at the 0.015. So I bought another meal earlier just to show conviction and help the cause at the 0.016. Thank you very much. Shout out to Pablo. Yes. Z Becker, this is definitely a very special project. There's something different about this one, guys. ZBCN. So where's the idiots now that were saying ZBCN was dead? 30% in less than 24 hours seems like dead shitcoin to you. And here I was joking. I was thinking I was dumb for buying and falling dead shitcoin. Joke's on you. I'm super flushed right now and ready to load up for the next one. Suck it, freaks. And it's weird. I told you guys, just calm down yesterday. I told you calm down and wait, right? Something will pump and bring the price back up crazy. You just had to be patient. Fear and greed at 5%, and you think ZBIC is the problem. Don't let flutter scare you. I buy what I can and hold. Maybe it will take a bit longer, but it's not its fault. And that's kind of the full sentiment I was on as well. Guys, it's the market. The whole market was down crazy. When Bitcoin crashed, everything went with it. Let's go back to Fear and Greed, actually. Smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Silver Days. So, market cap is 2.39 trillion for the total crypto market, up 13.4348%. Coin market 20 is 143.84, up 14.2%. Fear and greed, we are at an 8 extreme fear, which is weird. With the market being up 15%, I think we should be in greed. Not really extreme greed, but at least greed. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Altcoin season 24 is coming back towards Bitcoin dominance. It pulled away. Now it is cycling back in. Average crypto RSI is 46.9. So basically in the middle of oversold and overbought. Hence the price pumps. So I guess we can go. That's the 15-minute chart. We are RSI is 38.7. RSI base moving average is 43.9. Looks like we are bearish on the 15-minute chart and losing some volume there. On the 45-minute, looks like we're very bearish, losing volume. RSI is 48.2. RSI base moving average is 59.94. When the RSI is below the moving average, that means things are bearish. When it's above it, things are bullish. You can see here some red candles. Looks like we're coming down on the 45. On the 2-hour, we're definitely coming down. 54.03. Base moving average is 58.48. Looks like we're bearish on the bullish on the 2-hour and building volume. On to the 4-hour. 4-hour has some red candles. RSI is 36.42. And we are bullish, and there's still volume building on the 4-hour. So let me go over to X and comment. Now would be a perfect time to launch the Zebec Super app. Let me know if you agree in the comments. And this is the Super app, or is my version of Super app, right? See out here, we blinging, we diamond up with the Zebec.io on the watch. I think they could have made the watch a little better, but whatever. And holding 58,000, bro. So shout out to the BTM mob. Alpha Lion, the Zebec. Full article. Crypto and traditional finance are no longer competitors. CoinRabbit, that's not Zebec, crypto finance. Going to check that article out in a minute. Going back over to X. CryptoRabbit loans. Why is there a dot there? That's weird. Featured Zebec Network in their latest article on how crypto and traditional finance are converging, highlighting Zebec's network's growing real-world usage across payroll and crypto cards. So shout out to CoinRabbit. The Black Friday continues. Major buying opportunities in crypto. Don't trip. Buy the dictator chip while buying the dip. who else snagged the ZBCN under the 018 during the fire sale? Congratulations, pirates. Shout out to anybody that got in under the 0018. Put a fire emoji in the chat if you got in when it was down. That was this guy. And this is the Zebec. That was definitely unexpected. That's pretty loud though. Sound like Twister or somebody. But yeah, the Zebec is everywhere. Pirates turn your crypto into real world spending power. This is what building looks like with Zebec Network. You don't need bridges, hidden fees. You don't wait on banks. You load natively. You spend globally, period. Instant access worldwide. Acceptance, crypto cards, coffee, groceries, life. It's not hype
silver card
infrastructure while others are talking future finance. Zebec's already shipped the global crypto passport. Builders leading pirates following. Shout out to Simon and the crew for putting real utilities in our hands. This is how adoption actually happens. Load, spend, repeat. ZBCN pirates stay early.
The genesis of the card program really was an answer to a problem. If people are receiving their stablecoin payroll, how do they spend it? Well, enter the Zebec card. The Zebec card came to market about 2 years ago now, and the program has grown enormously. We now have 3 different cards in the market that serve people around the world, both people that receive their paycheck through Zebec Pay, as well as people that just want to use our cards to spend crypto in the real world. What makes our cards unique is that we have different cards for different use cases. Our 2 kind of entry-level cards are the silver card and the carbon card, both of which work around the world, both of which are 0 fee. And when I say 0 fee, I mean if you load, for example, 1,000 USDT on the card, you can go spend 1,000 US dollars. You don't lose a penny on fees, which is remarkable. There's no other card provider in the market that does this today. And we're also the card provider that supports the most unique chains. And I think Dash was our 19th chain. I think we're now serving 20 different blockchains, meaning that you can connect a plethora of different blockchain wallets across chains and load the same card. So regardless of where your crypto is, you don't need to bridge it to use as a back card. You can load it natively from that blockchain onto one of our multi-currency cards. We currently offer USD cards and Euro cards. We're going to be introducing more currencies throughout the year. We have the pound and the Swiss franc. We have some Asian currencies coming online. So think of the Zebec cards as your global passport. Regardless of how you make crypto, what kind of crypto you hold, you can spend money without fees on our cards around the world. Spend money without fees on our cards around the world.
What up? And yes, it's cool. Simon was on Dash talking about spending the cards. Your global passport is here. Phantom Beats, what's going on? Hey, everybody. Wow, that was Twister free sound about. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know. I think it was already a song there. I don't know if he actually said, if he did, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. This is ZBCN, man. Interesting signal, Zebec and Paylink. No partnership announced, but there are, if these 2 align, it could be massive for on-chain payments. Zebec's real-time programmable payments, payroll paid per second, stablecoin rails, cards plus real-world spending, Web 2, Web 3 financial infrastructure, pay, privacy first payments, private stablecoin transfer, Simple payment links, no wallet friction, privacy-enabled spending rails. Private payroll, employees paid in real time via Zebec, settling through Page privacy layer, no public salary data on chain. Interesting. Zebec cards, pay privacy tech, programmable income, private sending. That's a killer fintech stack. Payroll links for mass adoption. Zebec streams, claimable via pay links, no wallet address needed. Huge UI unlock for non-crypto users. Well, actually, it's kind of big, right? You don't have to get crypto, you can stream. Zebec pushes towards regulated rails. Pay adds compliant privacy tools together, enterprise-ready crypto payments. To be clear, this is speculation, not confirmation, but partnerships often start with social signs. If Zebec is building rails and Pay is building privacy, the overlap makes a lot of sense. Big shout out for the analysis there, Zebec man. ZBCN at the 0027, up 36.83%. Catalyst, major protocol update confirmed. Network activity surging. Featured in 3 made in the US coins to watch analysis. Really? Data shows clear momentum. Numbers don't lie. Monitor closely. Definitely keep an eye on that. This is Alpha Lion. Zebec is beast mode right now, and this isn't hype. This is straight execution in the making. For streaming payroll in real time to power next-gen payrolls to integrate stablecoins into every spending, Zebec isn't following trends. They're building infrastructure behind them. And that'll be on here too.
In beast mode. Hope ain't no game, it's the Z code. Sweat on my skin, feel the reload.
Zebec is turning into the music hub. But if you like it, I love it. Let's go. Shout out to the BTM mob. Check out the ZBCN on Kraken. 0.002 plus 31%. Zebec is on fire. That was this morning. A Zebec heavy hitter. You're looking for a great community, all things Zebec. This is it. Shout out to the Discord family. You can check them out at the Discord Nation on the Discord server. Actually, a lot of good information over there. I get a lot of my updates from the Zebec Discord. Come check them out. Zebec Network, ZBCN's pushing green while the market bleeds. Real utility, real world. The future of payroll and payments is waking up. That was at 26%. This is Zebec top spot, and that was 35.4 above DCR. White Whale, XCN, Flare, QRLB, Telecoin, and ZK. The pump is real, ladies and gentlemen. Can someone go flood this silly goose post? He blocked me, or else I would. Zebec is dead, man. The Zebec clowns on X and YouTube ready got you wrecked completely. Holders never make money. Holders are the biggest losers ever. Aren't you sick of losing money? And this is Crypto Mindset. We might need to go check him out. But this guy's always ranting and raving. I wouldn't even waste your time with it. Brian Armstrong, we're totally agree. Zebec is now. We are that official Coinbase listing. Ready, set. Today in the US, people get paid every 2 weeks for their paycheck. Why shouldn't you get paid every hour? Maybe this idea is payday lending could go away, right? Or every minute. Brian Armstrong at Goldman Sachs conference. And that's what I was saying, or said last summer. This could literally knock out that whole business of predatory payday lenders, because if you're streaming your payroll, people will find out ways to stream it, and you won't have to wait for 2 weeks for your freaking check. So this is super app, fast payments, multi-chain payroll.
I'm often asked, what do you mean by a super app? Platus. A key priority of my chairmanship is to allow market participants to innovate with super apps. I'm often asked, what do you mean by a super app? Play it as simple. Securities intermediaries should be able to offer a broad range of products and services under one roof with a single license. A broker-dealer with an alternative trading system should be able to offer trading in non-security crypto assets alongside crypto asset securities, traditional securities, and other services without requiring 50-plus state licenses or multiple federal licenses. I've directed the commission staff to develop further guidance and rule proposals, ultimately to make this super app vision a reality. A key priority.
It's almost like they're telling you without telling you, right? They always prepare you for what's happening before it happens.
Pirates weather the storm. I am the Zebec Network Pirate King. ZBCN pirates weather the storm. I am the...
Yeah, Peter told you the volume will be back, bro. You can't keep a good thing down, bro. This is not every day is an opportunity to accumulate for generational wealth.
But infrastructure. You don't survive every bear market. This is not speculation, but infrastructure. You don't invest in water because it's exciting. You invest in the pipes because everything depends on them. And that's exactly what Zebec Network is building. The financial plumbing of crypto. Zebec treats stablecoins as rails, not trades, powering real-world flows like streaming payroll, SME cross-border settlements, and 24/7 treasury movements. That's why Zebec is integrating with Remittances Hub, a FinTrack-registered B2B payments provider supporting transfers to 125-plus countries. This matters most in regions like Asia and Africa, where high-frequency, low-cost, real-time payments aren't a luxury, but a necessity, and where legacy banking rails fail. This isn't crypto as speculation, this is crypto as infrastructure. ZBCN.
That was a pretty cool ZBCN plug there as well. Oh, man. Going back through the process. Hate when you got to go back over, but this should be actually what happened? Past it, or the only one. The Zebec up 1.99%. That must have been last night. Wait, what was that? 16 hours ago. 13 hours ago, Zebec in the top 10 big movers in 24 hours. People who said yesterday and the days before definitely kicking themselves. Kicking, screaming, crying. And I told you guys, just hang in there, bro. ZBX has had 100 new holders since 5 hours ago. Looking forward to more green. Wait, what? $94,137. I'm pretty sure we're past that. Was it 97,176? The ZBCN's position to explode. I'm selling all the crypto holdings and buying ZBCN. Institutionals loading up their bags. Why aren't you? So 94,203. So shout out to the Zebec community. I'm back over here. See what's going on. Still up 23%, so coming down a little bit. If there's any post here, it will have another dip, maybe below the 0014. It will take some time. So be prepared to buy when it comes. Definitely another dip coming. Some kind of weird micro event or some kind of black swan event. I'm bullish on Zebec. Don't you just love watching the FUD? Coping. Jimmy in particular is my favorite. What a bail end. Okay, that's weird. Now that's what I call a comeback. Who bought more yesterday? I know I did. Did you guys? Put a fire emoji in the chat if you did pick up some. ZBCN, Bitcoin is under 70,000, XRPs under 1.3. Zebec at the 0017. Happy shopping. Definitely was a fire sale. Who is over here? Who is this? Let's see what Crypto Neptune has to say.
And as you can see, ZBCN is back on the move as the volatility has increased over the last 24 hours. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Remittance Hub partnership in this video and also Ondo Finance, because we haven't dove into Ondo Finance and that partnership. And remember, guys, nothing I say is financial advice. So looking at the volume, it's up big, 26 million over the last 24 hours. And we were down here at 12 million.
26 million? Hold up. Wait a minute. What is this he's looking at? Oh, Lunar Crush. That's weird. Lunar Crush does volume? Interesting.
And people were scooping up some cheap ZBCN at 0.0019. And they just kind of just ran it up. It went to 13 million, 14 million, 17 million, 19 million, over to 20 and 22 million and up to where we are right now. So that is a significant run up. And that leads me to believe these could be traders, or it could be people that want to increase their position at those low lows, and they understand kind of what they hold with Zebec Network and the future of what they're trying to build out. So this is great. This is encouraging to see that volume just continuing to tick up. And let's see, what does it say? Zebec Network trading volume is up 299% from the previous year. So yeah, so the trading volume is up from the previous year. Social dominance is up 38.15% from the last or from the previous week. So content creators, more people on the different social media platforms are talking about Zebec Network. So the strength is still there from everything I'm seeing. But again, the market as a whole has had a huge turn down. As you know, that Bitcoin dipped below 70K. So that had an impact on the market. It pulled Solana down, which pulled ZBCN down. So there's a lot of that going. So now, can you essentially trade heavily against that volatility? Can you go on that magic carpet ride also? It just depends on, again, if more eyes are on the project, more people willing to well into ZBCN and go on that run. So we've seen it before when there's downturns in market, when the crypto project just goes on a massive run. So, but again, up 27.7% over the last 24 hours. So that is encouraging to see with Zebec Network. And so getting into the Remittance Hub partnership and the Ondo Finance partnership. So they recently talked about a partnership with Remittance Hub. And basically what that does is give them access to 125 countries via Remittance Hub, business to business rails for SMEs and payment providers. Yeah, so this is their end. They said they wanted to tap into remittance transfer payments and cross-border payments, and this is their end right here. So this is huge stuff to be able to tap into that and have another revenue stream and have another way to send payments across borders. And then again, the end goal would be to increase the usage on the ZBCN token. And then it says here, faster, cheaper payouts, minutes instead of days with lower fees via traditional Swift banking rails. Yep. So pretty much fast remittance transfer payments and cheaper payouts is what we want, lower fees. So that's the importance of this partnership with Remittance Hub. And again, they got a lot of skin in the game. So that's why it's important. And yeah, compliance ready, they're compliant. So that's important. You know, with Zebec Network, they try to be compliant and they've gone down all the necessary things that are needed to be compliant. ZBCN has done it. So this is kind of pretty much a match made in heaven. Now with Ondo Finance, so this is the thing. So this is another stable coin that I was unaware of. I know there was a partnership with Ondo Finance, but I didn't dive deep into it. So it's good to know that they have another stable coin which you could get payroll streams with. So Ondo's USDY generates yield while funds stream, improving capital efficiency. So this is a stable coin that gives you additional yield, which is impressive. So I was unaware of that. And again, I'm going to have to look more into this. But if not only you can get paid by the second, but you can get paid in a yield-bearing stable coin, that is definitely something to look at and to consider. So that's cool. And here's the thing too. So look at this. Their stable coin is overpeg. Now this is the 205th ranked crypto project in the world, and it's trading at $1.12. So it's above peg. Again, I don't know how the whole tokenomics behind this. I'm gonna have to look at it. Is this a fiat-backed stablecoin? Is it an algorithmic stablecoin? I don't know. What I do know is at the time being, it is trading above peg and it is yield bearing. So definitely more to consider and more research to consider with this stablecoin. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're sitting with that. And then Ondo, Let's do Ondo. Yeah, Ondo is, let's wait for that to load, is sitting at 25 cents. And again, this just gives you an in to another community. If you can get visibility into the Ondo community, and Zebec Network can give Ondo investors and visibility, also extra visibility. So that's what these partnerships are all about, having that partnership, giving each other more visibility. But yeah, this is a top, this ranked 51st in the world. So I would pretty much say a top 50 project. It probably has been a top 50 project, being this close to it. But yeah, this is just another thing that gives me confidence in what Zebec Network is doing. And again, they Remittance Hub is in 125 countries, what we mentioned. Let's see what else is going on. Tangent Wallet, we know that they got that out there, the limited edition ZBCN Tangent Wallet. Those are going fast, so look out for that. Zebec Network is going to be at an event in Tampa. So the Nacha Innovation Alliance meeting in Tampa on February 18th. So if you are in the Tampa area, look for that. But again, it's just letting you know that Simon and team, they're out there, they're continuing to work. So that's bullish stuff. And see, was there anything else up here? Let's see. Oh yeah, there's something with Coin Rabbit Loan. So let's look at what the community is saying real quick. Let's see. So this person, so they're pretty much saying is dead. Although again, we've seen like the interest with this token. So again, everybody's is entitled to their opinion. You know, you do you. Let's see. ZBCN man says, just keeps climbing. Markets can be absolute wild right now, but Zebec Network keeps stacking wins. We're surging past 94K wallets on SolScan, real adoption, real growth. Yep. So looks like we've passed by 94,000 holders and growing. So yeah, that's a huge milestone on the way, on the road to 100K. Go says ZBCN is going to be an absolute rocket ship when we get all season. So yeah, ZBCN is still there. And again, it's you do you with your investment. Nobody can tell you to buy. Nobody can tell you to sell. You do you with your investment capitals and what you want to do. So I believe that this project has a bright future. And again, we're in crypto infancy and putting all this stuff on the blockchain and payrolls and salaries on the blockchain and being like a real world asset. And the super app is down the road. All this stuff is new and being adopted. So George St. Martin says, let's go. ZBCN coming in like a tsunami. Everyone who bought the dip and held. Yeah, so he's pumped. And again, could this be like just a temporary momentum swing? Only time will tell, but we would definitely love to inch back up to that 0.005 mark, get back up to 0.007, get to that 1 cent, because that would be like kind of that benchmark. Get to the 1 cent, and then kind of like continue to build the momentum from there.
Bro, the 1 cent is coming, right? Just be patient, my guys. Be patient. Pirates in the BTM mob. Boom. Sup, Silver Days. Utility, right time. Right utility, right time. Yes, Phantom. This is perfect timing, right? It couldn't have come at a better time, especially with the reset happening. I think this is going to be a major part of the reset. I was talking to people and they didn't even know what the reset was. I'm like, bro, with the crypto moving and the banks moving out, this would be a financial reset. Every so often, with finance, there are resets because, plain and simple, the technology is old, right? And it's about time to update things. Right? It can't continue on the way it has been going with batch processing and slower payments, especially if everyone else is adopting crypto. And with the administration saying this is going to be the home of global crypto, we got to catch up quick. And a U.S. company that does payroll and that does streaming payroll, I think this is the perfect time at the perfect moment for this utility to happen, right? I keep hearing something. I'm trying to figure out what that sounds like. There's something running, but I don't see. So I don't know. Maybe it's the computer. I need to figure this out. But keeping it moving, we'll get back to the video.
Going up and being one of those kind of mid-cap coins to all of a sudden accelerating in the top 10, being a $1 billion project and continuing on. So getting in that 100, getting into the top 50 as a crypto project is possible. But again, it just depends on the market. It depends on the sentiment. It depends on, do people have the extra cash to get in? That's the thing. Will retail come back? Again, if the markets heat back up, then that's definitely a possibility for them to come back in and for us to ride this thing up. But we'll see. It's you can't predict the market, so we'll see what happens. And let's see. Here's another tweet here, and it says ZBCN buying opportunity now. It will moon in 2026. 320x. Let's go. Yep. And then Alpha Lion, ZBCN is in beast mode right now, and this isn't hype. This is straight execution in the making. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes, but it's definitely nice to see a swing back up after we had that brutal fall off a cliff for the entire market. Everything just pulled back. But again, that's when you want to buy. You want to buy when it's in the red. So something new to think about there. All right. So I want to thank you for listening to this video, and thanks for stopping by. Hello, this is Crypto Neptune.
Crypto Neptune. And he's right. Crypto or ZBCN can push up massive this year. But let me know in the comments who's been holding since the quiet days. Put in the comments your entry point. Put in the comments when you got in. I got in Zebec when it was still ZBC, and it gave you a 10-to-1 swap. So every one ZBC you had, it gave you 10 ZBCN. So I don't know, but put in there when you guys got in. Sale wasn't long enough. It's gonna come back. Don't worry about that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Also, put in the thank you, Peter. The 0009. Thanks, Peter. Everybody else, let me know when you got in the Zebec. And let's see what Caesar has to say.
is the 6th day of February. And here we are sitting at about $0.002167, up 33% on this day. Beautiful. You were up a lot more. You were up at like 50% at one point, I think, from a low to a high overall. This day has brought you a 67% pump from the open to the high. It was a 54% rally. What you're doing right now, it seems, is effectively what you're doing is you're finding resistance at prior areas of local support, right? Yes, you wicked through it a little bit, but there's a lot of resistance right here, and you're definitely finding some turbulence. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Okay. But if we can't get above about 00, let's say 0028, this actually might be a good area to start offloading some ZBCN, unfortunately. Because let's call a spade, let's call it what it is. Right on Bybit. Volume was picking up as you're breaking down. We got a lot of volume today, but I'm sure a lot of that's also coming in the form of selling. There's a lot of selling. The most volume is at the top, not on the way up. If we had the most volume at the bottom and it was reverse, I might be a little bit more optimistic. But I think there's some offloading here. I think there's smart money that's taking the chance to offload right here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but here at 00215, maybe it's a good time to sell. Maybe it's not. I still think we could go a little bit higher. I don't know if we get above these highs though, right? That's the question. Let's look at the short-term stuff and see what's going on, see what the indicators are saying, and we'll try to go from there, okay? But understand, again, what you're doing right now, it just seems as though you're back testing prior resistance, prior support for resistance, and that's not a good look. Let's see. Low to high here. Low to high here. And I'm talking this way so much so because you are up 32%. You're up 54% today. Euphoria can happen. So I'm trying to bring it back to earth with the harsh tone a little bit here, right? Still love ZBCN. Still think it's got a whole future ahead of it that we'll see higher highs, new all-time highs, and all that stuff. It's just the whole bull market dynamic is screwed up and thrown off right now. So the timing will be completely off. Going from the golden ratio to your 0.5382 area for resistance, and then coming back down to the golden ratio, typically you don't find support here that sends you higher. Typically, maybe you find a little support, maybe you do whatever, but typically from there you'll go lower to the 786, 886. I'm not saying that's what has to happen from here, because we haven't done this yet. We've only done this so far. If ZBCN can close above the 382, which is at 002938. And again, the word I used was not to get above, but to close above here on any given day. This will validate this as a low, and we can start talking about the prospects of going higher, okay? Again, I do wonder, and maybe I misspoke whenever I said we were breaking out here. Maybe we're not breaking out. It looks like we're breaking out, but perhaps we're just in the same old channel that you've been in this whole time. In which case, maybe we do come up here, but that doesn't necessarily mean, again, that we're breaking out and going to new highs. We might just, come down and continue to do this thing for the coming months, for the coming year of 2026. I want to look at the indicators on the short term and see what's going on, though, because I do have a feeling we're going to see a little bit of volatility here. When I say volatility, I mean, we could go a little expected to come up a little bit, back to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a higher high. The reason why is there's a lot of volume here. And while, yes, that is selling pressure, we could see a higher high. There's less volume. And that's a clear sign that we are probably going to sell off and go lower. And with that, you might have bearish divergence on your indicators, stuff like that. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Is it a good time to sell now? Well, it's a lot better than it was earlier today. But I think if you're patient, you might be able to if you want to opt out of ZBCN, you might have a better opportunity to do so versus these prices. I mean, the difference here could be anything from an 18% difference to a 36% difference. I mean, it's an immense range that we could of possibilities that we could achieve here. 1 hour time frame. Looking at this, the RSI is pretty strong, pretty deep in the overbought zone there. You don't typically. Famous last words, man. In my most recent times that I've said this both times, it didn't work out. Typically, though, not what happened most recently, but statistically speaking, in all of the happenings, When you get this deep in the RSI, it's not a standalone moment, right? Typically, it's not. Typically, there's more to come, typically, right? Like here, when you got this deep, when you got this deep overbought, there wasn't more to come. But in a sense, there was, right? Because you got this deep overbought once, you came up and you kept coming down. It wasn't just like a standalone high, like or low like this, right? You got deep here. Was that the low? No, you kept going. You kept promoting lower and lower price actions and readings. Stochastics are at the 50. That's a good area to bounce. The RSI is between the 60 and the 50. It's a good enough area to bounce. The MACD looks good. We can go lower. You can pull back a little bit more from here. You went below the 382, so you probably do. You'll probably pull back to the 382. It's very common in strong moves to tip the 382 for support and go up. Normally, I'd call for you to wick below it and then move up, and that can happen too. If we go below 00204, that's fine, but we probably don't go too much below there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that and tipped that exactly, because it's prior resistance right there. It's right at the 382. You have a strong, robust move. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. So today, this is your high. I would expect that tomorrow you see a higher price, personally. And it's the weekend. If it's not tomorrow, maybe we consolidate, and then Monday you get a higher high. I don't know. You know, like what?
So, believe Caesar seems to think it is going to pump further either over the weekend or Monday, maybe next week sometime. I think so too. I do agree. It's going to pull back at some point, right? It's going to come down, probably stay in the twos, and then it's going to go back up past, at least to the 3, maybe a little higher, but it is starting to warm up. Then it's going to do another big dump before March, and from March forward, we're probably going to steadily go up and down, slightly making higher highs. Peter says the 0009. Silver Days to 0006. Phantom to 0007. I had a little before the upgrade. Shout out to CKJ Bozilla for setting up the 1 million Zebec challenge at the 007. Believe it. Shout out to Bozilla. What is it? The hidden gem hunter. Because that was definitely a hidden gem. I already would have invested in it, and I sold some. And then I saw the million Zebec challenge, so I stayed there and ended up stacking from there. If I didn't, I probably would have sold some more, but I saw the challenge. I was like, let me see what this really is. And I started looking into it, and I'm like, man, this is perfect time for streaming payroll. I just keep stacking lots of M of Zebec right now. What up, Doski? What up? I bet with the goat. Where you been, fam? What's really going on? I got more Caspa. Did you check out the Caspa video earlier? Nobody was in the live. I don't know if people are used to the late night lives, but I guess we'll start running them again on the night shift. Since the market's back, it's a little flexible, right? People aren't as stressed, going crazy as they were. So we'll see. Bet with the GOAT. What up? Ow. Blessings Crypto family. What up, fam? So let's finish this video with Caesar and keep it moving.
I don't know what that was. I mean, that was a plate with.
Yeah, what was that? I'm tripping. What was that? What the?
You know, like whatever, however it might look. I don't know what that was. I mean, that was a plate with some forks on it. I don't know why that noise happened, though. I don't know why. Be careful over there, okay? Okay. Let's see. I'm not getting any signs or signals from the 1 hour that tells me this is the high and we're going to see a lower low now. I'm not seeing any of that. We have seen some strong readings, and typically strong readings produce more movement, and then you slowly decay and then you roll over. But we're in volatile times. Prepare for anything, okay? If you wanted to take this as a moment to sell, I don't blame you. If you're patient and you want to wait and see what comes next, I don't blame you either. I'm kind of more in that kind of stage, but we'll see. 4-hour time frame here, looking at the RSI, you are rejecting the overbought area, not the zone itself technically, but I mean, from this, it looks like it. Stochastics are rejecting the overbought zone. MACD is bearish overall. Kind of interesting here. You broke out of your downtrend. I'm sticking with it. I think we do see a higher price. I don't think that we go below this low before taking out this high. I don't think so. If we do, maybe we get some kind of like double bottom and then we come up, maybe. I don't think from here we're going to do this though. I don't think so. But perhaps we could go lower than 00204. Maybe we do find support at the golden ratio. Maybe we go a little bit lower than intended. I don't know. Something in that area though, between 00174 to 00204, somewhere in that zone, that's where I think we'll find support. I'm calling for the 382 specifically. But if I'm wrong, the golden ratio awaits. Daily time frame, very oversold. And I want to use the same logic here that we used for the 4-hour. And this is again why I think if you're holding ZBCN, if you've been investing in it, if you've been waiting for this breakout to 3.5 or 3 to 4.5 cents that we've been calling for months, that's no longer on the table. This next little move up might be your chance to get out. Maybe at a slight loss, maybe slightly in the profits, maybe neutral, where you're kind of going to be, I would assume, at the lower ends of this range. So most people would probably be in the loss slightly. But it's a lot better than what it was at the lows, that's for sure. I mean, imagine if you sold here, you're at the lower ends of this range, but then if you bought here, you're killing it, right? And we're probably going to see a lower low than that in time. Because again, I think that what we're in is a downward sloping channel. It's not a bull flag. It's a downward sloping channel. Similar, but different. Same, but different. Weekly bullish divergence. Hey, on the MACD, that's good. That's something promising. You can go lower and still build that divergence, though. I want to see the daily time frame. Where did I get distracted? There was something I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. That's okay. Oh, yes, that the standalone. The standalone, right? This is probably not a standalone reading. You probably come down, you get bullish divergence, further divergence, maybe a lower low, something like that, right? You don't typically see deep readings like this that are just standalone, which if that's the case, you likely will see a lower low at some point. I just think we have a little bit higher to go first before that point happens. Want to line this up again. I think you're going to have a hard time getting above 0029. That's probably where you go and you find resistance. That would be, in my opinion, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. If we go up here, that would be a perfect area to sell because it's really in direct trajectory with these other highs here. So that's my thoughts. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think my mic is back on. Yeah. You guys can hear me, right? Yep. I don't believe this is the high from this low. I do believe that we go a little bit higher. It's not going to be all in one fell swoop. It is the weekend, so do expect maybe a little bit of turbulence over the weekend. Maybe we do pull back to 0017 or something like that. Maybe we do go a little bit lower. But I would expect that we do come up. We probably see a higher high than this. Once we get that higher high and then we're back below this high, that is the point at which we become bearish to lower lows, or at least I do. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here.
So shout out to Caesar for that prediction. What up? What is this? Whatever Caesar says, usually the opposite happens. Ha! That's weird. But you're right. He does generally. Sometimes he hits, sometimes he doesn't. But that's anybody, right? Nobody will be right all the time. If they were right all the time, they wouldn't be making huge videos for us, right? Just my experience with him, 9 out of 10 times. But the guy's dedicated, respect, taking the time for giving his opinion. I bet with the GOAT, where you guys been, bro? So this is Caden O'Neill. Let's see what Caden says. You big holders, pay attention now.
Couple of days of just basically down only extreme selling. Yesterday in particular was a pretty nasty day, with most crypto coins being down anywhere from 10 to 20%, including Bitcoin, dropping about $10,000 in a day. Now today we've actually seen that turn around a little bit, with things starting to run back up a little bit. Bitcoin in particular has done very, very well. We've also seen Zebec do incredibly well. I think up 38 or 40% on the day, a really crazy move. So let's talk about kind of what we're seeing overall in the crypto market. As I mentioned, it is a green day on the day so far. Things like XRP, Caspa, HBAR, Ondo, some of those doing really quite well. Now, if you look at the week though, you can still see super red. This is even with all of the green days, or the green candles coming in today. So, this does just go to show you how bad the crypto market has been. And it is nice to get a little bit of a turnaround. Now, I think part of this turnaround could just be a little bit of some flushing liquidity as the markets have gotten really, really bearish. You'll see here, Tyler Hill, a friend of the channel, you can see, has talked about kind of the liquidation maps. We've talked about the liquidation maps very, very frequently on the channel here. And generally there's some level of balance, where if we go ahead and take a look at this, you will see almost $30 billion to the upside here, with basically none to the downside, which is just absolutely crazy. We've never really seen an imbalance like this before, not really even close. And so I do think part of the move that we are seeing today could just be some sort of kind of impulse move back towards, some sort of mean reversion, just because we did see a massive sell-off going yesterday. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart a little bit here in a second, but Zebec actually kind of outperforming much of the market. You will see, of course, with most things up anywhere from 10 to maybe even the top performers being up about 20% today. We can go ahead and we look at some of the others inside the top 200 or anything like that, and you'll see that we start to see really huge numbers coming out of Zebec, 32%, even things that we talk about on the channel like Onyx Coin, Jasmy, 16, 18%. We can see, EDU 15%, Lunk 10%. So 32% really is a pretty impressive number for Zebec. And part of the reason why is you can see that actually Dash covered Zebec on their podcast. You can see they shared this on their account with 443,000 subscribers. So definitely a lot of really strong visibility here for the Zebec token. It is nice to see these crypto projects kind of working together and kind of giving good coverage to strong projects in the space. I have always maintained the fact that Zebec is a very, very strong token, and it is a very strong project, again, in my opinion. There is always risk inherent with anything in life, particularly in crypto. So that's not to say that we'll go all make a whole bunch of money, but I do think that Zebec is doing all the right things to build a really interesting and unique product within the overall market. So that does leave me fairly confident holding Zebec through some times of uncertainty like we have seen. Now, as I did mention, we did have a really nice move coming in on the Bitcoin chart. Yesterday, I did go in and actually make a long trade here on the Bitcoin chart just because things were getting massively oversold. I went and did a 10x long. You can see here actually doing really nicely so far, up about 107% so far. Just given the kind of impulse and the magnitude of this move, I probably will be cutting out at least 50%, if not a little bit more. Just because I do expect that the selling is probably not over quite yet. And so I will probably be cutting back on some of the position here. But overall, pretty nice move off of what seemed like a pretty oversold move yesterday. So that was, of course, what I did there. Of course, not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Make sure that you understand the risks involved with trading generally, particularly leverage trading. If you end up doing leverage trading, it can definitely be very risky. But if you are interested, I do, of course, have the affiliate link in the description below where you can go ahead and claim your rewards. You could see 10% bonus on first-time deposits through BTCC if you want to go ahead and take a look there. BTCC, I think, is a fantastic option. It's a great platform. You can see here a 10% deposit bonus on your first deposits, as well as extra bonuses of up to $10,055 per user and no VPN or KYC required, as well as tokenized stocks and Forex. This is one of the other reasons why I think it is a really, really cool project, or a really cool exchange, because it allows you to build diversification right in within the exchange. You don't need various different brokerage accounts to get the different asset classes that you're looking for. I think that's really cool. I think that's one of the things that just the crypto industry as a whole is bringing to the table here with the space of kind of converging a lot of these different assets through tokenization, which I do think is super sweet. So anyway, got that link in the description below if you want to take a closer look at BTCC. Moving along though, let's take a look at the trading view for Zebec. You'll see here we had, again, following suit with the rest of the market, a pretty difficult sell-off coming over the past several days, even a little bit over a week at this point, with a really strong pump back to the upside here today. You'll see kind of moving above this red line. We've talked about this red line being a really key level that we need to hold. We did break below it for a couple of days, but this move has pushed us back above it, which is a good thing to see. Ideally, we look to continue to see this holding at this level and maybe a continued move back to the upside. But again, if we are moving in and we're going to continue to move further down on the Bitcoin chart, it is very likely that we continue to see Zebec bleed to some degree as well. I personally, though, do remain fully convicted in Zebec. I think price is just one of the, one of the metrics that people use in the short term to gauge sentiment. I think long term, Zebec is doing a lot of really strong things. Now, you have already started to see, if we go ahead on the shorter time frames, you will start to see that we have started to see a little bit of pulling back here and maybe some consolidation after a super strong move back to the upside. Did get a good bit of wicking here, kind of at some of the local highs that we saw kind of previous, over the previous, let's call it, couple weeks. So we are starting to see a little bit of wicking, so something just to pay attention to and make sure that we, again, continue to hold above this level. If we do sell below this, we're probably going to back down at least to the lows that we were at, if not even lower. As mentioned, we could get all the way back to this 0007, 0008 range. So just be prepared for a possible outcome like that. Now, I do still believe, like I've said, that Zebec is going to deliver and it is going to do well, but you do have to play the crypto market cycles. When you have altcoins are going to bleed to Bitcoin when Bitcoin is making moves like this. If we go back up and take a look, when Bitcoin is making moves like this, it is generally equivalently bad, if not worse, for altcoins. Now, of course, we are seeing a nice little pump on the day here, but if you just look over the past couple months, I know we've looked at this chart many times, but you will see, even though when we have these kind of momentary days of pumps, it generally does kind of continue to keep the downtrend. So if we were to kind of draw out a slight downtrend here, you would see probably something like this, right? This is something where, maybe we could see a pump back up into like the 83K range, depending on how, when we get there, maybe it's even only up to like the 77K range. I do think we could see kind of an impulse move back up into this area. But until we do break this downtrend, we can expect lower highs and lower lows coming through the whole time. So that is my opinion of what I think we're going to see next. And then from there, obviously, nobody knows for sure. But overall, that is what I am seeing from Zebec currently. Again, potentially danger ahead as far as short to midterm price movement. But as far as I'm concerned, the team is still shipping, the team is still delivering. And until that changes from a fundamental perspective, I think Zebec is going to look pretty good. Now, of course, that does mean that, maybe we don't want to be buying right now because of the suspected short-term price action. But I'm taking the approach of just never knowing exactly when the bottom is. Maybe that was the bottom that we saw yesterday. You really just never know. So I'm just going to continue to DCA in and make sure that I'm being responsible and kind of DCAing in, DCAing out, making sure that I'm not trying to call tops and bottoms, because that is always a fairly risky proposition to do. So overall, that is what I have for you today. Hopefully you found the information in the video useful. If you did, of course, like, subscribe, all that type of good stuff, and make sure to drop some comments. I'd love to hear how you're feeling about Zebec, especially as we're kind of running probably further away from an alt season than toward one. I'd love to see kind of what your thoughts are as it goes into the future for Zebec protocol. I do think that Zebec personally is a big winner, but I would love to hear what your thoughts.
Always will keep it moving. And we know Zebec is a winner, but we will see what happens over the weekend. On to trading
Boys
snipe.
and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Guys are doing fantastic. Listen, your boy is ecstatically happy. Oh my God. I'm feeling good. I am feeling great. Look at this green beloved day. Look at this, right? We've seen Bitcoin take a nice recovery, bouncing off from our zone from yesterday. We can see we dipped all the way at 60,000. We've already bounced back to 71,000. So this is actually very good. Very good. Not only that, but we see other altcoins here on the right side of the screen. You know, a lot of them are up heavily, and we can see one in particular is up extremely. You know, it's up extremely, man. It is up a good amount. And it is no other than our boy Zebec. Yesterday, during the dip, I did call out to the private community that I am buying, and I pretty much got in somewhere right over here. I said it a couple minutes after I bought. I announced it at 12:29. I got in somewhere over here. So not the most sniper entry, but a great entry nonetheless. And that's kind of what happened with the reversals last time too. When I called the reversals, obviously, I don't aim for the picture perfect top. There was a couple more percentage I could always in theory squeeze, but that is just how the cookie crumbles, right? Because last time when I did sell, I was selling somewhere here as well. So you could always say, there's a little bit more. But, if you have that type of mindset, you are actually just going to cause a lot more stress on yourself, and you will end up burning yourself. So pretty much caught the bottoms or near the bottoms. I am personally super ecstatic. I know some people on Twitter as well were buying in, and anyone that bought in over those last couple of hours, right? If you bought in near the price, I bought in, you'd be currently up 36%, and even at 1.53%. If you bought in closer at the bottoms, let's just say somewhere down here, if the averages, boom, you would be up currently 43%, and you would be up 62% at one point. And let's just say you did snipe some of the bottoms, you would be up 47% at this point, and at one point you would be up 67%. So me and a lot of other people are super personally happy, and not only happy because we got in great entries, and a lot of people on Twitter also got great entries, but because we are seeing a huge rejection, right? This is kind of what we want to see after a huge down sell period. We want to see a huge rejection, and in fact, we want to see a continuance of this, especially for the next coming days and even a few short weeks, right? Seeing Bitcoin recover $11,000 in one day is very nice. And, last time, for example, when Bitcoin did recover a lot, it was kind of like this, right? We recovered a lot, we started going sideways, and then next thing you know, we have an expansion to the upside. It's why yesterday I personally didn't panic at all. Even over the last week or two, I didn't really panic, right? I said it before, I'll say it again. I expected 74,000 area to get swept. And then I was like, you know what? We are on top of a huge support and resistance right now. So we should be reacting off of this as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys didn't stress yesterday. And most importantly, I hope to God you did not sell at these lows, right? At these low points. I know when there's a lot of panic, a lot of fear, people are saying it's over, but you can't necessarily always listen to the crowd. People think when things go down, it's over. When they think it's going up, it's never going to stop. So you just have to be very careful. Before we jump into the technical analysis for this video, I do actually want to see over the last 24 hours which cryptos are recovering the best, and we will do the top 200 because that's where also Zebec lies. So we can see over the last 24 hours, Zebec is practically number one. Well, technically number two, but we can see it, right? We are number two most pumped crypto in the top 200. And we can see boom, very nice. A lot of cryptos are green. Boom. And of course, there's still a handful of reds as well, but not too many. And if they are red, it's very little. So very nice, right? And I wonder what that balances us out for our averages for this week, because we were down a lot for the week. When we go and look at something like the 7-day, we probably are still negative because we did drop a lot, but I wonder how well we recovered. Yeah, we recovered very well. Guys, gotta remember, in the last week, I think we were down like 40%. We were down like roughly 40%. And in one single day, right, whatever happened in the last 7 days, we almost recovered it all. Now we started to sell off a little bit. So now again, we're minus 13% on the week. But my God, that's the power of Zebec, right? That is the power of Zebec. And I'm telling you, once the green lights happen for crypto, for Zebec, for altcoins, it's going to be a absolute masterclass. And we can see right now, this weekly candle is a huge rejection, right? It's a very, very nice rejection. This is what we want to see. I'd actually kind of prefer closing like this instead of a weak buy candle, right? I don't want to end as a weak buy candle. I'd actually rather end as a very, very weak sell candle so that, even if next week we do have a little bit of a retracement, right? Ultimately, what I want to see is huge surges, right? Huge surges to the upside. I know some people are calling that the bear markets and everything. And it's like, look, guys, I understand that, technically what we did in the last 20 days, that is kind of bear market behavior, but let's not pretend that altcoins haven't been kind of been a dud for over a year, right? So, when I saw Bitcoin drop like $30,000 and altcoins, drop whatever amount, I wasn't even that phased because honestly, altcoins weren't even getting that wrecked in comparison to previous times, right? You have to remember that, the ratios were much, much worse, right? We've had better ratios before and we had worse ratios before where, for example, when Bitcoin was at near the all-time highs for, it was roughly October 6th or something, right? Over here, right? Boom. We can see when we go to the all-time highs, which is somewhere over here. So it's like October 5th to 10th, let's just say, right? We see something like Render, for example, even if we go to October 6th and 5th, right? Look at that. We were at 360. We were at 360 when Bitcoin was at, all-time highs. Yes, Render is down a good amount, for example, but Bitcoin's also down a good amount.
What up, Crypto Clay? Where you been, bro? And yeah, I threw this out there just for you, my guy. Just for you. Now would be a perfect time to launch the Zebec Super app. Let me know if you agree in the comments. The 589. The 589er. But yeah, let me get back to the video. Just threw that out there for you. Zebec Stronghold, what I bought most of. Stoked. Let's be careful what we call progress. But I'm loving seeing the strength in assets I've chosen. And I did pick up that what was it? I already had the Stronghold. What was it? H-bar. Yeah. H-bar came all the way up today too. So that was definitely a good pickup. But we will see. Let me see. What was HR? What H-bar turned out today? Let's get back to the video though. Let's see. Oh man. Yeah, H-bar is up 13% today. 13.2. Let's go.
So now it's kind of like it feels more balanced. It feels way more balanced. Even here, right? The end of December, we can see that something like Render was $1.30 when Bitcoin at the end of December was, we can see all the way up here, 90K, practically 90K. So the ratios got better for altcoins. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't that bad. Altcoins obviously bled, but it wasn't that bad. And the fact that we're getting a balance and correction is good because that means when we do start correcting in price for something like Bitcoin, we do start going to upside. We should see altcoins see a lot more love than they have over the last year. Anyways, let's talk about the short-term price action. We can see that we have seen a huge surge. We can see also that when it comes to the swing points, that we are starting to close a little below these main swing points over here. So obviously, we need to see a bigger burst. We are starting to lose a little bit of momentum. You got to remember at the end of the day, this weekly candle is a bearish candle. And like I said, I don't mind losing momentum a little bit. I don't mind slowing down because I would prefer next week to be strong instead of us having a weak buying candle. I don't want this to become a weak buying candle. I would prefer it to become a weak selling candle on the week, right? I want it to end near like this and not kind of like a weak buying candle like we had mid-November, okay? Because those are very, very short-lived, okay? But when you have a weak selling candle, kind of like we had back in mid-July, then usually you see pumps the following weeks, which obviously would be very, very ideal. I think if you are, having FOMO, I do believe there probably will be a buying opportunity for you. I'm not saying necessarily going to get the prime position, right? But I do think you could expect at least a 50% retracement in this move, even possibly up to 0.618. So possibly coming back down to the 1.8 section to 1.9 or even the 0.002, right? You should be seeing that, in my opinion, just based off probability and just based off of likeliness, right? Because usually there's some type of little correction, even when you see a big move, right? We can see right over here, we weren't really exhausting. So we just kept going, and then eventually we slowly corrected out anyways. But I think because the market has been just so brutal over the last week, I don't expect us to really recover this week. I would expect it to be recovering over the next few weeks. But yeah, overall, I would say things are looking good. Things are looking great. I know people, like I said, were scared, but look, at the end of the day, people, yeah, like I said yesterday, you really have to think, right? The market makers, they could bring this down to zero. And you just have to say, which side of history do I believe we're going to be on? Do I believe they're going to be on the side of they're going to rug this? Or do you think the market makers and the elites, the people in power, are ultimately going to use this small market? Because at the end of the day, we're only at 2.5 trillion market cap or whatever we're at. Remember, we're very, very small, right? We're less. We're 2.4 trillion at this current moment, right? There's so much growth and opportunity and money to be made in crypto from the people in power. You have to remember that the probability of them, killing it is very, very small, because, if you're a person in power, would you rather make money off this, or would you rather, kill it and just, and that's it. That's in the story. For me, like I said, I've seen gold hit 40 trillion. I'm not sure what market cap silver was at, but stock market hit 160 trillion at one point, and the whole entire crypto market's only at 2.38 trillion. So we have so much growth to go. The people in power know that. And at the end of the day, you just have to, pretty much just think, are we pro crypto? Are we not pro crypto? And yeah, that is ultimately it, though, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys so much. Things are looking good. Great.
So shout out to Trading Sniper. I saw something weird. Yeah, a Zebec to $2. What's going on in the chat? Pump, bro. I got some millionaire buddies that have been skeptical of crypto that haven't been buying lately, and finally saw some action. I have some friends that are deep in crypto, but they don't even care, right? That's how deep. That's how much money they got. They don't even care for real. They just threw something out there to see what would happen, and they've been riding the waves. And it's been down, so they've been noticing, but not really concerned. But when it pumped, bro, like somebody else is saying me in financial services, if you pitch right, people will be like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's great, all right, cool. They lose some money, they call you a few times, not a big deal. They actually make some money, oh bro, you'll never hear the end of it, bro. You'll never. Eat it, suckers. Hell yeah. Both have dropped 100K last week on anything I said. Both spent under a K. Both spent under 1,000. Hitting me up all day, asking me what to spend their money on. Both spent under. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, literally. Yeah, they make a couple bucks, bro. They will worry the hell out of your ass. Typical Lehman. Laughing my ass off, laughing. We gotta leave them all in the dust. Gonna leave them. And they both had to go to effing college. Let's get back to it. What's wrong with college though, Clay? Oh, you're right. I should have just took out a trade and been out long ago. I've been rich, living the life. But let's see what Zebec to $2 is talking about. Hope this
network ZBCN is pushing green while the market bleeds. And that alone is getting the attention of investors, builders, and the broader crypto community. In a time when many projects are struggling to show real progress, Zebec continues to stand out because it focuses on something that truly matters. Real utility, real rails, and real-world adoption. Make sure you watch to the end. And don't forget to subscribe to Satoshi Guy for more updates on the future of crypto and digital finance. To understand why Zebec is gaining so much attention,
Must be the video.
we need to look at
It's
the bigger
weird
picture.
that some videos be laggy and some play straight through.
For
I don't know
years,
what's going
crypto
on.
promised to revolutionize payments, payroll, and financial infrastructure, but many projects remain theoretical. Zebec is different. Because it is actively building systems that turn stable coins into real-time streaming money. This means payments are no longer limited to slow transfers or batch processing. Instead,
All right, we're not going to make it to a $2 part because this. I don't know why the video is lagging. What the freak is going on here? I'm going to keep it moving though. This is. It's now or never.
Guys, it's Young Wealth. Now today we must speak about ZBCN because ZBCN right now, it's not looking the worst. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Ever since I seen the bounce, I feel like that was confirmation to actually buy. Now what bounce am I talking about? Now you have to understand that it actually broke below the 21 range, 22 range. And I said in a video, which I didn't post, I said it's gonna hit the 15, which it did. So you gotta understand that this
Definitely a good survival technique, brother. And try not to get blowed up. But yeah, you made it back to the world. Thank you for your service. Continuing on.
support over here was pivotal support. This support over here is pivotal. And the last time we actually hit that support, what happened? The last time we hit that support, right, we actually got a move of 327%, guys. That's why in the video I titled this Now or Never, guys. Now or never. You have to understand that a lot of these coins, they are undervalued. And when it comes to ZBCN, it's a token that I like speaking about because it makes sense. If a token makes sense and I can see that it's going to be here for the next 15 years, which I feel like ZBCN can do, you have to understand that most businesses go out of business in the first 14 years. So if a token can be here in the next 14, 15 years, that means it's a viable investment, not financial advice though. Now it says today in the US, people get paid every 2 hours, every 2 weeks for their paycheck. Why shouldn't you get paid every hour? Maybe this whole idea of payday lending could go away, right? Or every minute. Repeat. Let me read that one more time so you understand what they're saying. Today in the US, people get paid every 2 weeks for their paycheck. Why shouldn't you get paid every hour? Maybe this whole idea of payday lending could go away, right? Or every minute. Imagine getting paid every minute, guys. Now you'd have to be responsible with your money, but getting paid every minute will be something huge. Now, hopefully this don't go away. Don't go away because I need this picture. Yes, sir. Now it says top RWA projects by social activity. As you can see, Zebec Network takes a close second. And you got to understand that this is beating coins like Prop Chain, is beating coins like Ondo in terms of social activity. That's why I believe the support base behind ZBCN is what's going to carry it to higher levels. And also the institutional. But you got to understand that institutions don't get into tokens that they don't believe in. And we know that dude already started with the dude with the capital venture. He put ZBCN in his portfolio, so that's something we can look forward to. Now, getting back to the charts, right? Where can we head from here? Now, there's a couple places we can head from here. The first resistance we have is going to be on the 21 line. If you can break that resistance, that will look healthy. Now, as you can see, if you just go over here, we're actually up 2% today. We're down 26% on the weekly. And on the 34, we're down. On the monthly, we're down 34%. Now, on the yearly, we're still up. That's the thing, guys. We're still up. So we still have ways to go. Like, we can still go a lot further down. I'm not saying this is the bottom because all it literally takes is Bitcoin to actually say, you know what, I want to poop the bed today. I want to poop the bed. And we can get a lot lower than what we are today. I don't know if that's correct. Yeah, we're at 64K, not 67. And we actually hit the lows of 62K. Now, that's almost the 200-week moving average, guys. If you didn't already know, I want to see if I can put the 200-week moving average onto Bitcoin. Go on indicators real quick. 200-week. $200-week moving average.
And uncles and aunts that are service men and women, Air Force, Navy, the Marines, the whole spectrum covered. But yeah, let me get back and finish this video.
Let's see where it is. Let's see if this works. As you can see, I think this is the 200 week. You got to understand that tokens like Bitcoin is the reason why we're so low. Of course, we know that. But when we talk about real world assets and what they are going to do for the market, you got to understand that there's a fraction that we need. It says the market for tokenized real world assets is projected to experience massive growth by 2030, with estimates ranging from 1.5 trillion to over 16 trillion, driven by the tokenized of real estate, bonds, private funds. Key forecasts include 11 trillion by ARK Invest, 16 trillion by Boston Consulting Group, and 2 to 4 trillion by McKinsey. Now, guys, all we need to do as ZBCN holders is capture a fraction of the projection that the markets for tokenized assets are going to do. That's all we have to do. Get a fraction of it, because I feel like here's a steal. If you just go to the calculator real quick, here's a steal. You can literally buy 1 million ZBCN for 1.9K now. Back in a week ago, it was 2,200. Back around 3 weeks ago, it was 2,700. So just know that it's now or never when you see tokens like this breaking their all-time highs and they actually consolidate, that's when you want to start dollar cost averaging. I wouldn't go all in into ZBCN right now. I want to go all in. But the thing I would do is start to say, you know what? I'm going to add a little 40 a week, 50 a week, just to be on the safe side, because I know a lot of you guys already hold a lot, so you've already secured your financial freedom. You got to understand, a lot of people in ZBCN, they have a financial freedom that they've already secured. So it's a lot of beginners in this market. So for the beginners, I would say, like, it's wise, not financial advice, but it's wise to dollar cost average into tokens that you don't have a lot of. So you don't have to add a whole chunk, but you can dollar cost average into certain tokens. As you can see, the lows of this token were 14.8087, shall I say. So knowing that, and knowing that where crypto's going in the future, I would say it's smart to start adding slowly but surely. I won't go all in because we can go a lot lower. guys, Bitcoin can go to 35K. That's my opinion. Bitcoin can definitely go to 35K. So knowing that, I'll be careful whilst investing all the time. Now I wouldn't be fearful. I feel like you should be greedy because, guys, this literally is broke all of these highs, guys. All these swing highs you see. All these swing highs you see, we've broken them. All these swing highs you see, we've literally broken them. We've broken this swing high. We've broken this swing high. Broken this swing high. Broken this swing high. This could be a local bottom and we can have an impulsive move. The reason I say we can have an impulsive move is because we did it already over here. This is the same key level I'm talking about. This is the same level of interest. It's a demand zone. That's why we had a little bounce over here. And this bounce can continue. Now, the question is when we reach this line over here, will we get rejected? That's the question. You got to understand that it's like it's now or never with these type of plays because I don't believe Bitcoin will stay this low for longer, but I believe that if we break certain key levels, we can definitely see prices of like below 50K. Because you have to understand that when you do the math is that we have a bull run every 4 years, right? Now, if you just go on the calendar, you can see that the next bull run is aligned. It's aligned to 2028. So we literally have around 2 to 3 years of accumulation phase till we get that next push. But in that accumulation phase, things can go a lot lower. So just be prepared for both scenarios because I feel like when it comes to Bitcoin and when it comes to the crypto in general, there's a lot of fear behind it right now. A lot of people have given up. A lot of people think it's going to zero. We even had people in the industry saying it's going to zero, which in my opinion, it can't go to zero because Bitcoin is a store of value. Knowing that, it's like it's a lot of tokens that have a place in this market, including ZBCN. So ZBCN is a great buy in my opinion. I would take it easy though. I won't go all in. I would say, I'm gonna start slowly dipping my toes in the water. I actually want to buy 1 million. When I get paid, that's the first thing I'm gonna do is buying the 1 million ZBCN. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video.
Yeah, no, I just like to hear other opinions. This guy's definitely new, talking about getting to 1 million. Bro, stop. And yeah, just buy more. Charts are a bunch of Chinese. Fundamentals haven't changed then. Buy more. This is the way. This is the way, right? Just keep buying. Not financial advice, just for entertainment purposes. But yeah, I can understand the charts, but the charts don't mean nothing, man. Not for real. I see the charts going up and down all the time with no rhyme or reason or any logic. It's just when they want to pump the exchange or when they don't want to pump the exchange. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit your main man up with a super chat. And you can also throw something in the Cash App. Either way it goes. Thank you for supporting the BTM Crypto News Network. And this is the last video. This is VLC. VLC Network.
Shows you all the quality of Zebec and why we are in this project in the first place. Now, I already explained yesterday why we saw this deep sell-off on Zebec. It was mainly because of Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin had a dramatic sell-off. The overall market came tumbling down with it. But as I explained before, any small momentum to the upside, any sign of recovery, Zebec would be the first to move. And this is actually one of the best performing altcoins in the market right now. Now, what I'm about to reveal to all of you is going to shock you all. But I believe we are about to see the start of altcoin season. Now, listen to this. What we experienced this week is reminiscent of what we experienced in March 2020, which was before the start of the bull cycle. Now, what does that mean for Zebec? If this truly is the start of the bull cycle, the start of recovery, then you can forget about these targets. Yes, these are some short-term targets. The top of our range at 0.000684456. We obviously know we do need to hit this target before we can truly celebrate. But it means these targets become more realistic. 0.00161866. The 10x target, yes, that's Zebex hitting a 2 billion plus market cap value. This is what we could be looking at next, which means if you're in this project right now, you're well positioned, you took advantage of buys at the lows, we could be in for an incredible next few weeks. Now, I will also talk about what happens if that isn't the case. But before I get started, I want to make it clear, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that you see in this video is financially advised. So always make sure to do your own independent research. But now it's time to get deeper into this video. Now, we can already see in real time how sensitive Zebec is to Bitcoin's price action. But it's important to note, if this is the start of a bull cycle, if this is the start of an altcoin season, Zebec is in a great position. Now, if we don't see that, right, if we don't see the upside moves that we're anticipating, all it essentially means is this. Okay, Zebec might range for a bit more. Zebec may stay at the lows for longer than expected, but ultimately, we understand based on previous price action, although past performance is no indicator of future success, that Zebec could bounce back aggressively. And that's ultimately what gives us confidence to build out our positions on Zebec and hodl this over the long term, because ultimately we want to be in projects that have that long-term value. Now, let's focus more on that altcoin season scenario, right? That bull case scenario. Right now, if you're watching this, we all have the opportunity to be big winners here. Zebec right now is at a $221 million market cap. Now, it doesn't matter if you didn't, buy at the low, you didn't take advantage of that. That's completely fine. But right now, I would be focusing on that $2 to $3 billion market cap long term. But I'd be looking at these short term milestones. Now, I'm eyeing 0.00684456. I think we're going to hit this target a lot sooner than expected. What I'm going to be doing over this weekend is keeping a very close eye on Bitcoin's price action, right? So Bitcoin right now, let me just show you guys, is now at 70,000. So recovering quite nicely from the lows. And, a lot of people have taken advantage of price at that $59,000 price target. And just like that, price is bouncing back. Now, if this continues, if we do see a strong recovery, I honestly believe Zebec is going to be one of the best performers in the short term. Now, what I want you all to do, because 75% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed, I want you all to subscribe right this second, because the updates I'm going to post over the weekend and next week, you do not want to miss them. So guys, do that right now. I'm going to be posting some epic updates over the weekend. Again, subscribe to this site right now. And if you want more in-depth analysis over the weekend, join my free Telegram group by clicking the link in my description. Again, completely free to join. Click the link, join the Telegram group. Just make sure you have the Telegram app downloaded. But remember, what we're seeing right now in real time is Zebec proving that it's a coin of value in the market, proving that it has what it takes to survive over the long term. And you guys just saw in real time how correlated Zebec is to Bitcoin's price action. But guys, I'm going to leave it there for now. I do believe we're going to see the start of an altcoin season. I'll elaborate on that in more detail. I actually touched on it in my free Telegram group. But guys, get ready, because we're about to see moves that we haven't seen since 2021. Until the next update, seize the day.
ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, how my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today
You got trading snipers throwing videos left and right. The charts are a numeric representation of human emotion and have obviously nothing to do with whether the asset's going up or down. It's unpredictable. Correct. Crypto markets, not stocks. There's that Martin Lucas. The Zebec, definitely not Martin Lucas. I wouldn't even playing him, but it is weird. You think he's out here moonlighting? You think he's moonlighting on another channel? Because he definitely got super exposed. Oh man, that guy. Oh man. LOL. Zebec to $1 freaking. That was his number one hit. Oh yeah. No. Oh my gosh. I literally low key forgot about that guy. I prefer my tea in the effing harbor. I would take market advice from a 10-year-old before, my 10-year-old daughter, before I listen to this over again. Interesting. But yeah, that guy was hilarious. I should go to his videos and just start trolling tonight to see what he's talking about. I'm pretty sure he's not talking about the Zebec. But Trading Sniper mentioned something. What did he say? Worst case scenario.
we're going to be talking about the one, the
want to
only,
hear these
legendary
predictions?
Zebec
Then we'll
Network.
call
Now,
it
today's
an
going to be a
evening,
slightly
ladies and
different
gentlemen.
type of video. I'm going to be talking about
Boys and girls, cats and dogs.
what I think is going to be the worst case / cases for Zebec if, of course, we had a absolute dud of a cycle. Now, I'm only making this is because there's, a lot of fear and panic going on. And of course, I think this is right now the most appropriate time, because if I were to say this while everything is going up, then I think people wouldn't even consider this, right? But I do think, right now is probably going to be some of the best times because people are very, very concerned. What should they be doing? Look, at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions, right? I am simply here giving you information. I don't have a magic ball. I would say, probably based off, what I put on YouTube, I do have a pretty good track record, especially when it comes to Zebec and its technical analysis. But at the end of the day, I can't ever confirm to you 100% saying, "Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna hit this price." Right? There's lots of evidence I can show. There's lots of there's probability. There's math. There's past historical events and past other cryptos where we can say, yeah, there's a high chance of this and this happening, but ever giving you the exact price, the exact time is impossible. So, you know what? With that being said, let's just jump right into it. First off, I have my conviction for Zebec has not changed. In fact, pretty much you could say every week, every month, it has been growing more and more, despite what the price is. Okay. Because fundamentals and technicals don't always line up. Okay. You have to realize that oftentimes the fundamentals are going to be much further ahead than the price. And if we want the price to catch up to these fundamentals, the fundamentals need to be great. So the fact that Zebec's fundamentals are basically 12 out of 10 and they're consistently posting left, right, and center multiple times a week, some type of new partnership or collaboration or integration or something that's going to come or a tease for something else or whatever it may be, it's very, very nice. Very, very nice. And obviously the project itself for what it wants to achieve, right? So yeah. Anyways, when I look at Zebec, when I look at the price, when I look at the market cap, when I look at the fundamentals, I always say this. I think worst case scenario, really, if things were to be a dud, you should be getting your money back. Okay. Because the way these markets always move, they always like to sweep certain zones. And that even includes highs. Okay. That does. I could give you a prime example with Bitcoin, right? When we go and look at something like Bitcoin, we can see, right, that we had these nice highs in 2021 here. And before we crashed, we swept these highs for the final time. And then, boom, we went into bear season. Okay. So highs and lows oftentimes get swept. Okay. They really, really do. Not always a guarantee, but oftentimes they do. We can see that other times where we have swept and then moved on is something over here with something like Bitcoin, right? We're moving, we're recovering, and then Bitcoin, guess what? Sweeps all of the relevant daily and weekly candles, and then it pumps up. Okay, over here again, Bitcoin swept a couple weeks worth of candles, boom, and it started to go up. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more dramatic. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit more calm. But we can see, I remember this was something about ETS possibly, or some type of news event, right? We swept this high over here. We went back down. We swept multiple weekly candles, boom, and then we continued to go up and up and up and up. So for me, it's always like that. It always is like that. I always expect some types of sweeps. 2025, before things started to crash, right? We had these 2024 highs. Guess what? In 2025, we see at the bottom, we just swept it by what, roughly a couple $100. And then that's when we got the correction. So for me, I've seen this time and time again, with multiple altcoins, there's always a high probability of the highs getting swept. And if the highs don't get swept, they usually get there to 95 to 97%. They get there really, really close, right? So if we were looking at this range, I really do think, generally speaking, worst case scenario, if you bought at the literal top, you would probably lose like 3% of your money. And I'm being so genuine. So in terms of getting your money back, I feel like everyone should be getting their money back at one point, right? Worst case scenario. And probably for most people, you would be seeing some types of gains, right? If you did get caught in the bull trap, you probably still make some type of gains. If you maybe bought at the 0.618 area, you would still make 50% of your money. Maybe if you bought half of this whole entire big range, you would almost make double your money. If you bought somewhere in the lower ends, right, you should still be making a good amount. Boom, right? 3.25x. So I feel like everyone pretty much should be a winner. Or if there are going to be any losers, it's because people bought the literal top and lost like 2% of their money. Okay. So that's the first thing. Now, I still think there's still going to be some types of expansions. And for me, right away, the two expansions that are always super, super likely, and one's almost 100% guaranteed, is the 1.618. Okay. That would be a little bit over 1 cent. Okay. I truly, truly do believe that, because you know what? Usually, if a crypto is fundamentally well enough, even during tough times, you will see pumps, right? It's the same way. Like 2025 was a dreadful year, right? It was a dreadful year for these cryptos. It was a dreadful year for these altcoins. And yet, Zebec saw an expansion. Okay. Zebec was one of the only cryptos out there that actually had, I think, a 200% return on the year. And there was only a handful of others that had some type of green. And the rest were like minus 50%, minus 70%, minus up to 85%. Okay. So, I still think Zebec will be getting some type of expansion to 1 cent. Now, the last high probability area, before the odds really start increasing in the context of the worst case scenarios, is going to be roughly 1.5 cents, right? I do believe the 2.2 expansion zone is a very, very high likely scenario, even during rough.
So 1.5 cents. I don't know. What is this? He doesn't even buy crypto. He doesn't, which is weird. You're making videos about crypto. Go brush your teeth. You limpy. Oh, wow. Really, Clay? Really, Clay? Yeah, no problem. I never liked that guy anyway. And when he came out with the song, I knew it was a joke, bro. He wasn't even talking about buying. He never said anything about buying, which was weird. And he always talked about, what was that? He was going to have that live stream, but he's never showing or talking about crypto. Like, bro, what you really own, bro?
Times. Okay. Even during some of the most rough times, I do believe we would hit 1.5 cents, because if we were to, even just go and look at Zebec Network right now, if we were to hypothetically 10x, that would be pretty much 2 billion market cap, 2 cents. Okay. So we would not be even asking for this. It would be roughly a 1.5 billion market cap or so to hit 1.5 cents. So you have to realize, people, right, for a project like Zebec, with the fundamentals is getting, with the adoption is getting, with the ISO, being in the ISO elite club, hitting 1 to 2 billion market cap is not really that impressive at the end of the day. But yet you would still get very, very nice ratios and returns, you know, even if you bought at the top, right? If you bought at the top with the 1.6, you can make 60% of your money. If you bought here, you'd still make over double your money. So these are pretty much the worst case scenarios. For me, we all know Zebec is very undervalued, right? We know Zebec is literally very, very undervalued. I forgot where exactly to check where the ISO cryptos are, but you know, we're only like one of the 14 or 13 cryptos that are in ISO. And we know that we are going to be playing a bigger part than some of these other ISO cryptos, right? And that's just the truth. That is just the reality. So for me, at the end of the day, you know, 1.5 cents is going to be like the worst best case scenario, and the worst case scenario would be pretty much coming back to these all-time highs. That is it, though, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I love you guys so, so much. And remember, this is not only based off the Fibonacci tool, right? This is based off of probability, and this is also based off the great fundamentals Zebec has, and also the market cap. Because you have to realize, coming back to a 7-cent market cap, you know, or 7 cents, or not, what am I saying? 7 cents, 0.007, right? That would be roughly 600 to 700 million in market cap, which that is more than realistic with what Zebec has been doing and is going to continue to do. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
So shout out to Trading Sniper in that video. I guess the Olympics is on. Check out Martha Stewart in what was that? Snoop Double Easy, my Neezy at the NBC Peacock. I might check that out. He's disappointed that the deal with him and Zebec never materialized. However, he may not realize Zebec's foundational work speaks for itself. The ISO 200 to be 222 compliance alone demonstrates the value. Yes, optimistic Matt. And yeah, I think we should. Wait a minute. Is this him? Is this him under a felonious name? That'd be crazy. No, I'm messing with you, optimistic Matt. But that'd be crazy if just fool showed up with a surname or something. But yeah, I might have to swing on over there and harass that guy just because, right? I'm in a good mood. Olympics on. I got some free time. I might go in and watch the Olympics and start. What was that guy's name? Was it Matt Lucas or something? I don't know. But I definitely might go start messing with Clay. You should have never brought that up. You should have never brought him up, man. I was having a crazy day and things are good, and then that happened. I'm gonna have to go over and find this fool tonight. But outside of that, thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. 94,206. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit your main man up with a super chat. It's your boy, BTM right now. Thanks for joining. Thanks for all the videos and the support today. Thanks for the super chats. And I know you're going to have a good weekend because we are back in the green. Just got a ways to go, but as I said before, just be patient. The crypto will take care of itself, guys. Just got to be cool and wait it out. This is a good project, a good investment. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. But I think we're going to be all right. Shout out to Peace Out Silver. Peace out Clay, Chad, and the rest of the BTM mob. Let's get it. Remember, let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. Miners out. Peace and hair grease. Peace out.